Okay, so in Unit 2, our main topic was obscenity versus indecency. But beyond that, we also talked about the FCC and how to file a complaint against the FCCC, which is when a letter has to be written into them and it can be done. Also, as well as the seven deadly words that are regulated by the FCC, which was done by the seven deadly words were by George Carlin when a man actually heard them while he was riding in the car with his son. Um, that kind of brought a precedent set for the safe harbor time, which is between 10 p.m. and between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. There's a regulation on what can be said, but after that time is when overnight radio is where things can be said that are not necessarily as regulated. The only radio station that's not regulated by the FCC is XM Radio because it's a subscription based program. Howard Stern kind of set the precedence with XM Radio on that, and he's basically kind of a figure for indecency, which brings us to the indecency versus obscenity. Indecency is basically indecent material that contains sexual or excretory acts, which basically are not on the level of obscenity. Obscenity is basically tested by the three-pronged test, which was set and precedented by the Miller versus California case. And in this case, Miller was basically, there was a mail order company that would send out films and books of pornographic material, and they were sending out brochures at the time to multiple individuals, and it got into the hands of a restaurant owner and his mother, and when they opened the envelope, they ended calling the police and trying to file a complaint and a lawsuit against the company. The thing that that actually held them up to not be charged with obscenity was the fact that it had artistic value, which is in line with the LAPS test. The LAPS test is whether it has to have literary, artistic, political, or scientific value in order for it not to be considered obscenity, which is part of the three-prong test. In that three-prong test, the first prong is it has to have a period acts, should I say, or lustful thoughts. And then the second part is unlawful sexual conduct. And of course, the third part is the LAPS test. Before the Miller test, there was the Roth test, which was the first definition of obscenity, which was a 1957 Supreme Court case. But the Miller test actually unseated the Roth test, which gave us the new definition that we have of obscenity, which is if it has cultural value, it is not necessarily considered obscene, which is also what saved the 2 Live crew in their case, because they also had an obscenity case where they were being sued, but the LAPS test saved it because it was of artistic value. That's it.